What's up, horse racing fans? Welcome to another episode of the Inside Post. As we get closer and closer to Kentucky Derby time, that running for the Roses on the first Saturday in May. Today, we are bringing you our betting breakdown for our first episode of the Kentucky Derby betting guide. We will go through this 20 horse field, giving you our must use horses that we think can win, 4 good price horses, and we will knock out some horses that we are going to probably toss. However, all this can change. This is kind of why we're making it our first episode. Kind of waiting on some horses to ship in, be watching their workout reports, and then, of course, the post position draw will determine kind of our final betting decisions on the day. And probably give you another one come closer so we can see what the weather is going to be like in May, to see what horses kind of enjoy the mud or slop or maybe a wet track, wet surface, and give you again another betting guide for Kentucky Derby Day. So today we're just going to go through here, give you all some information on horses that we like currently, some of the good prices that we will probably look at or focus in on more to kind of structure our tickets for our exotics of exactas, trifectas, and maybe even a big superfecta. As you know, a lot of these exotic wagers can pay out big. I think this one is definitely one of the tougher ones to bet or to figure out. I just feel like this is a pretty wide open field. Forte seems to be the class, but there's a number of others that could run up and run big, just as we saw last year. And again, it's all about figuring out the long shot that is going to make a deep run to hit that second or third to round out your exactas and trifectas to give you that big payout. So right out of the gate, what we are going to do is kind of strike out some horses that we believe are going to be tosses. This is just based on our predictions or kind of our thoughts of what we've seen these horses do, or what we've seen these horses compared to some of the other ones in here based off of their prep races, some of their speeds, and kind of what type of form they're in. Are they a horse that's improving, or are they a horse that is kind of on the back out? So right out of the gate, I think two of the horses that we are struggling to knock out of here will be Wild on Ice and Sun Thunder. However, I know, again, one of these big price horses could come back and bite us. We're going to wait to see what their post positions look like. But as of now, these will probably be the two biggest price horses on the card for their odds. Right now, they're 50 and 60. Definitely going to probably go up because they're not going to get very much attention compared to some of the other ones. So these horses could be 70, 80, 90 to 1 odds come post time on Kentucky Derby Day. I know everybody wants the money, and that those two seem like ones that will be to help pay off. I just don't know if their running styles are going to fit into this, and I just don't think that they kind of have the class coming in to some of these other horses. Another one I'm going to go ahead and scratch out is probably Continuer, the special invite Japan horse coming over with Derma Sotokaki. Finished third behind Derma, has shipped over here with him as well and has been training. I just haven't been impressed with this horse. I know ran third in the Dubai Derby, but I feel like if any horse is going to run well, it has to be Derma Sotogaki, being the one from Japan and the one that everybody is talking about. Our next one we're striking out is Raise Kane. Kind of like this horse in his last prep race, did not fire at all, or kind of did not impress us at all. Seems to be one that's struggling right now, doesn't seem to be taking that step forward, and another that just doesn't seem to be in the right form. Again, we will make decisions based off of the post positions and the workouts, but Raise Kane is one that we are going to leave out as well. Confidence gain, we just haven't seen a whole lot out of this horse. Um, hasn't ran in some of the bigger prep races that you would like to see. Kind of lucked in here, getting some preps from the earlier season of Kentucky Derby preps. That's how he got his prep victories or prep points, and one that we're probably going to take out as well. Reincarnate, I'm going to go ahead and drop that one out as well. Just again, another one that just has not been firing, has not impressed us, and one that we're going to leave out. Disarm barely gets in to the Derby by running in the Lexington, and I believe he finished like second or third. Just did not do anything. However, probably ran against a Preakness favorite in first mission. So again, one that's just not in the right form, does not look to be impressing many people right now. So one that we're probably going to leave off. All right, so that leaves us a ton of horses. The last to go, or if we had to strike another one, probably would be Rocket Can, maybe Lord Miles, Blazing Sevens, and then Hit Show. I know I've eliminated a lot of our higher odd horses in here, but those horses kind of will be those price tickets. I don't know why Lord Miles is a decent price for us in here. We're going to throw him in as a price horse to use. Again, just kind of interesting background, interesting pedigree. We're going to take a shot and use him in our trifectas and possible superfectas for those third and fourth place finishes. The other one going to be Hit Show. Again, a horse that has really not done anything wrong. Did run into, unfortunately, Lord Miles in that Wood Memorial, was the favorite in there, and again just got beat by Bob by a head or a neck. So I think Hit Show is definitely one with a better trip, should continue running well. Hopefully he kind of hits the board for us in that second or third. So we're probably using Hit Show in our exactas, trifectas, and superfectas. Verifying, again, another horse that ran really well. To Tap It Trice, finished again, got beat by a neck in that race as well. So definitely one to use, especially at 18-1. Verifying just beaten by a neck in his Kentucky Derby prep race. Again, another good odd horse. Not the big odds that we were hoping, or what we will probably see. I believe this horse is going to get bet heavily, especially if his odds are where they are, just because of how he ran against Tap It Trice last time out. And the other one, we kind of don't want to get left out. We don't want that FOMO, the fear of missing out. So we're going to add Mage as another price horse in here. 20-1. Again, another horse that's probably going to get bet pretty hard, and will probably be in the teens, just because of everybody's talking about this horse and how he performed against Forte and everything else. But still, Forte was able to beat him. So there's our kind of four price horses as they are sitting right now. We have Hit Show, Verifying, Mage, and Lord Miles being our bigger one. Definitely using Lord Miles and Hit Show just because they come out of that wood. Lord Miles beating Hit Show by a neck, so maybe Lord Miles will have to take another big step forward, and Hit Show kind of shakes that off and kind of runs another big race. Verifying, another one you have to use just because of how well he ran last time out, getting beat by Tap It Trice, a horse that will probably be the second betting option in here. And then Mage, another horse, got beat out by Forte, who was the 2-year-old champion, who comes in as the Kentucky Derby favorite and probably will be the heavy Kentucky Derby favorite come post time. So all four of our price horses have ran really, really well in their last outing. Lord Miles being our biggest price. Another one that we could have added if we had another dollar sign would be Two Fills, and we're kind of waiting on Two Fills to ship in. I know he's been at his trainer's workout center or training facility working out, so there's really not been anything posted or talked about of him. So once he gets into Churchill and we see what he looks like, Definitely will probably be one that we will use as a price horse and maybe even earn one of our Kentucky Derby winning check marks. All right, so getting to the check marks, kind of going to work backward in here. It's tough. We probably should have added a fifth. I mean, we have Sotogaki, 2 fills, like I said. We're waiting to ship in Angel of Empire, Tabatrice, Practical Move, and Forte. So right now we are looking at those 5 of contingents that could be possible winners. But out of the gate, I think it has to go to Tabatrice. Probably Todd Pletcher's second best horse in here. And again, one that has done really well. The only thing that we're scared about is not necessarily a curse, but the drawbacks of a Tappet never winning the Derby, or a sire of Tappet not winning the Derby. The distance should be there. The speed is all there. Or the speed is not as far as some of the other horses. He doesn't have the top end speed. So what's interesting, I believe he's still jockeyless. He does not have a jockey, has not been declared on Tabatrice as of yet. I believe we could see Luis Saez possibly coming aboard Tabatrice, I believe is what the talk is right now. So that will kind of determine a lot of what's going to happen with Tabatrice, what post position he will get, and then of course who's going to be the jockey aboard. Next, gotta go Practical Move. Did really well coming out of the San Antonio Derby. Another one waiting to ship into Churchill Downs. Has some pretty decent speed figures. I believe he's 3 for 4 lifetime, coming off of 2 or 3 wins in his last outings. A lighter race horse compared to some of the other ones in here as well. Timmy Octane is kind of high on this horse just because he gets a lot of slack for saying he picks up the Bafferts. Well, this horse was bred in, well, not necessarily bred. This horse was purchased kind of with Yakatine involved and has been trained by him since day one. So a lot of Timmy Yakatine's time have been put into Practical Move, kind of falling away from some of the other ones that he's picked up from Baffert. This one, however, 100% Tim Yakatine. So interesting to see what he can do there. All right, obviously, you know I'm going Forte as the last check mark here. I'm going to go with Angel of Empire currently. I really liked how he impressed in his last outing in that Derby prep race of the Kentucky Derby prep race that he came out of. I thought he made a big sweeping move, made a good run up, and kind of led away in the stretch. A lot of people will probably fade this horse out just because of the class of what he came out of in that prep, and kind of doesn't seem to be in the field of Practical Move or Forte or even Tabatrice to some bettors. But this is one that we will probably, outside of the other top 3 of Forte, Practical Move, and Tabatrice, use as our win place or show wagering. I believe this horse can win. It's kind of sitting right now 2 or 3 on our Kentucky Derby top 10 video, so make sure you go check that out. But definitely one that is going to be heavy that we will use, especially with exactas and our win bets. Of course, he'll be in our trifectas, but definitely using in heavy in our exacta and wins. And of course, Forte, like I said, it's hard to put money on this horse to win, just because I see his odds being so low. But again, done nothing wrong. 2-year-old champion, comes out of the Florida Derby, figuring out a way to win in that. The biggest question mark is going to be, the post position. What post will he get? And then has he regressed because of that Florida Derby trip and kind of exhausting himself? I don't think so. I think he's going to come in here and run a big race just like he has. He'll have to make a mistake and somebody else will have to run big for him to get beat. But definitely one to use in your exactas boxes, trifecta boxes, superfecta boxes. I think you have to put Forte in the mix of those 2, 3, 4 bets that you make. And of course, we could have put Derma Sotogake in here. As of now, it's kind of hard to understand these Japan runners, what their speed figures are. We know that he was fast based off of his time. We don't know speed figures. His workouts, he's been at Churchill for several weeks now, more than any other horse has been. The biggest thing is we don't know what his pace setup is going to be or what his pace running and style is, just because they're coming from Japan, Europe, and it's hard to decipher that compared to how we pick out pace settings in the States. So Derma Sotogake, another one that you probably have to use just because it seems like speed is what the Derby usually prefers, or speed horses usually do really well in the Derby. So Derma Sotogake is one that right now we are pushing out, but he is probably our 5th checkbox right now, leaping over 2 fills as our next one to get a check. So there's our Kentucky Derby betting breakdown. We will provide these to you, like I said, every so many days, just sending out updates with workouts and horses that we see that have been holding good form, that look really well coming out of their prep race, and then that are getting back onto the track and able to stretch their legs back out. And then, of course, once we get the post positions, we will definitely throw out one. And then for Kentucky Derby Day, we will be giving you a full-on betting guide for that first Saturday in May. Thanks for watching. Make sure you check out our other videos, hit that subscribe button, and give us a like. Thanks, everyone.